why did you create RoboTherapy? What were you thinking?
Created basically a satirical, like a fake company called RoboTherapy.ai, the dystopian future where AI completely replaces therapists. We wanted to see what our therapists going to say, what is their response, how they're going to take it. And we found really interesting things.
You also shared some numbers around this. 45% of Gen Z, they're very comfortable with AI. And then 63% of therapists are rating AI session as higher quality. And then also 80% of people who tried AI therapy found it helpful. These are real humans that are trying AI, and they're having such raving review. This is scary. A lot of therapists need to pay attention to this.
But what we saw is just from the posts on LinkedIn, when people found out about it, they already reacted. They never did the research. Their fear contributed to them being like shutting down like the research and understanding like, is this something that is actually happening? Build real strategies of how to deal with it. I know human connection is not going anywhere. We crave human connection. Almost all therapists right now have headshots on their profiles or websites. The reason for that is to create trust and connection. At TakeOne, we just try to help you create that connection before people even talk or meet or anything.
Daniel, thank you for being on the Forum Nexus Podcast today. One of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you specifically is, about a month ago, I was on LinkedIn, minding my business, browsing, and then out of nowhere, I saw an article that, that kind of confirmed all my biases. And then, for some reason, I had a feeling that it was satire, but then I read the comments and I saw people were just angry. And I was like, you know what? I have a thing for myself. Whenever I see everyone saying one thing, I'm going to investigate and figure out why. And today I want to know, why did you create RoboTherapy? And what were you thinking when you decided to go into the therapist space and just make a lot of PhD people angry? So I want to get your mindset today and understand why you did that.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
And you're not the only one that saw that LinkedIn post that we promoted and was a little bit confused, saw the comments, felt that something odd is going on, and then went and investigate. So I appreciate that. I'm the founder of TakeOne, but we created basically a satirical, like a fake company called RoboTherapy.ai. And the idea is to kind of understand, this experiment to see what's going on with AI and therapy. Can we see how people would react when we try to show them the dystopian future where AI completely replaces therapists? And we wanted to see what our therapists going to say, what is their response, how are they going to take it. And we found really interesting things. Of course, we had a goal eventually with TakeOne to take it to a certain direction and tell them our story. That was part of the path we wanted to take. But we also wanted to learn how they're gonna see this. And we found very interesting, kind of maybe concerning even responses. The one thing was that they immediately reacted with fear instead of like researching. So even people that, PhDs, doctors, all that kind of stuff, they immediately were attacking us or challenging us that robotherapy will not be, cannot be a thing, that it's, that we're hurting people essentially. Now,
basically blasphemy.
Exactly.
Right.
And to give some context, robotherapy, the idea is that it's like replacing completely therapists with robots, right? Like that. The biggest post that we did was like, we raised $120 million in robotherapy to replace therapists, right? Because we can't have human inconsistencies in therapy.
That's the post that I saw actually, and I remember like reading that. I was like, I don't think any sane founder will say that in this space today. And I was like, I'm gonna go read the blog, and then the actual testimonials where I was verbally like aggressively laughing. because I was like, this is crazy. I love the way that you guys went about it. But I'm curious though, was there any concern just internally between you and your team, especially at TakeOne, and like taking on such a, not even a risk, but like, I know there can be an association when it comes to therapists. I work with a lot of therapists.
Yeah.
And I know how much they care about what they do. And sometimes when they go all in, they go all in. That could be a support or could be not. So you took this risk to do this. What was the concern among you guys in the TakeOne team and also RoboTherapy as a whole?
So when we talked about it, we try to actually make it very clear very early on that it's satirical. Except for the first maybe page, as you scroll down really a little bit, you already can see, and I have it in front of me, for example, when we say, our bots have perfect memory, means that unlike human therapists who might forget details about your life, our AI remembers everything you've ever said and everything you've ever typed, online purchased, searched for, everything. So we try to make it clear very early on that it's satire. But what we saw is just from the posts on LinkedIn, when people found out about it, they already reacted. They never did the research. Their fear contributed to them being like shutting down like the research and understanding like, is this something that is actually happening? Also, the surprise about that is not only like, we didn't say like we're a new company that's coming to try and change things. We try to portray ourselves as an established company, one that raised so much money, $120 million. We posted another post that said that we got to like, we said that we like, our chief clinical officer has announced that we did like 1 million sessions or something like that. So it is something that's happening, and yet people did not research like, wait, is this helping people actually? Is this bad for people? What's going on here with this company, and dig deeper. So actually we expect people to respond more like you did, a lot more people, but most of them just like didn't click on the website. They just read and immediately responded. Which kind of confirmed that they have kind of like this fear bias, and we're not willing to like, just go deeper into what's going on here.
Yeah. And like one thing that I see on LinkedIn, especially when it comes to AI, I hear a lot of people, especially in the mental health space, they would always try to urge therapists that this is not going to replace you. Sometimes they will say someone who uses AI will replace you. And I think this even adds more fear to the therapist, because number one, they don't even know what AI is. I don't think there's any, like CEUs out there that are actually prepping therapists to understand AI and how they can use it as a resource, not as someone that can take over and just some kind of machine. Because at the end of the day, people like to work with people. So I do like the fact that you guys took your time, like, because I look at the branding, because I worked in film, and then I worked with a lot of agency owners, like advertisers. I was at Marvel's. I used to work for Marvel Studios as well, so I got to see the branding, and I was like, this is fascinating. And I know how much work goes into that, and I don't know whether you guys in any place where you can take that on, where you can help therapists understand what exactly is AI, because they don't know, and that's where the fear comes from. Do you have any thoughts on that, just the fear base and also the lack of understanding and education?
Well, that's really interesting what you're saying, because we're working with like thousands and thousands of therapists, helping them, be more authentic, create connections online. This is what we do with TakeOne. But what we've noticed, and I've noticed in the last few years, is that when the word AI comes in front of therapists, there's two kind of like camps. It's like one camp, it's like, no way, nothing with AI. Nothing can help us with AI. And then the other camp is like, okay, AI is going to replace all of us, and like everything it's like black or white, right? You don't think in between. And this is kind of what the experience that we did kind of raise. But I think that there's an opportunity here to, I'm actually, it's a good question what you asked, but I don't think I have the answer of how to tell them that there's like kind of a middle ground, a place where AI can enhance how they work, where AI can be used as a tool for them. I am honestly, on that path as well. We do it as a company with our specific tool, but I think therapists are still very much afraid of AI and the use of it and what it means in terms of privacy, what it means in terms of their work and their ability to connect with people.
Right. And then, like while I was reviewing just all the materials that you shared with me, like you like talked about just the anxieties around AI, and you had some bullet points as to like, what happens if therapists or just people within the mental health space don't open their, minds to things and actually take time, leave the LinkedIn sphere and actually go to the landing page and read information, because most people within the mental health space, they have to spend years of research. So why aren't they using that time to go into that space and actually research like something that's confirming our biases? Because this is something that I take upon myself to make sure that I always go above and beyond, especially when everything is telling me that, hey, you're awesome, you're this, you're that, you're this. So I want to have you like break down those bullet points. I believe the first one was like, I think you said fear short circuits critical thinking. I love that. This is something that I actually talk about, and I want you to kind of break that down for us.
So I think it's very human, right? You see something that's going to replace you. You see something that, like, immediately the idea with the 120 million posts was to like tell people, hey, it's here to replace you, like immediately.
Yes.
I think maybe that was in hindsight strong, but it did bring reactions, which is what we wanted people to engage with this. But as you can see, people who are trained in research and critical thinking, they just completely disregarded like all of their training and immediately went into attacking back or dismissing the possibility that this company can be helpful or does anything or exists or like what not. So that was one thing that I think is just human nature. When you're when you're challenged with fear, it's kind of like a fight or flight mode, and they some decide to fight, some decide to flee and not do anything about it. And then the second thing is like, I think a lot of the people found our RoboTherapy and some of what we wrote as like an easy like strawman kind of thing to instead of real threat. So the way I see it is like, we made it so aggressive, like this dystopian future where we almost make fun of like humans for like being inconsistent and for them not being able to memorize, or for them being human even. We're like, oh, we don't need humanity. Like we just like, read, like we had, an instance when they asked us, someone wrote in a comment, like, how do we assess that what we're doing is helpful? And we said, the response was like from the RoboTherapy was like, basically, we don't need to assess if things are correct because our AI is telling us every day that they're doing a good job. And people responded to that if that was real. They could not see ahead, and
the satire.
It allowed them to like really attack this like really, in a sense, RoboTherapy is like a bad actor in the space. Without understanding that there are actually real actors in the space today that are working on developing these tools, that people are actually asking ChatGPT for life advice constantly and getting attached. We've seen people that have said in studies like or in articles that AI checks on them more than their friends and family, and they feel more connected, creating some sort of like dependency on this AI, which is not good. You want human connection. So that's kind of like the second point, that they find it as an easy target, which, that's not helpful. And then we saw that their just professional identity is fragile. And I think that this is something, again, that we see everywhere. I come also from filmmaking background. AI is now replacing a lot of the things that people need to do in video, and people are worried and they're completely dismissive. they want to feel like what they do is obviously unique, and people are unique and they do a fantastic job, but like technology is moving forward, and I think that the people that are gonna not adopt technology are gonna be just left behind. That's just the reality. You have to like not fight it, but find the ways that it enhances what you do as a person.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, I actually agree with the bottom one. When you talked about identity, I know you played soccer as well. I also played soccer. I still play, at pickup games, and back in college, I came to the U.S. to play soccer for UMKC. It's like a college here. And I was really good. That was my identity. It was everything that I do was Abraham, the soccer player. But then I had a really bad injury. And then, quote unquote, I was old because I was 22 playing with 16-year-old kids. And then, so I had to leave that. And it took me so long to get over that. And I think a lot of therapists are, AI is kind of, pushing them into that category. And sometimes it's not even their fault. I think there's it's not anyone's fault. We don't know what the future of AI will look like, and people are excited about it. There's so much hype around it, and I think there has to be some kind of program dedicated for therapists to understand what the hell is this and how can they better understand it. And I would love for you guys to take it on, because I think you have the technology and the infrastructure. And you're building that partnership as well. You already created, like RoboTherapy. I think that would be the best way to just be like, hey, I'm actually your friend, and nice to meet you. Come on, TakeOne.
Actually,
so I like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that you're saying that. I don't know if we can solve all the problems that therapists have with AI. I think that there's a lot of tools and a lot of places. Yeah. But I do think that, like, in terms of the competition with AI, we can really be helpful. As we transition from RoboTherapy in the bottom of the page to kind of like share a little bit more about TakeOne and like kind of switch it and share like, hey, this is not the future that we want. We don't believe that like AI can really replace therapists completely. A human connection is extremely important. So for our sense, it's like we can really help therapists with the marketing of themselves, with winning over AI, with the competition. And the way we're thinking about it is that, AI is always available. It's going to be cheaper. It's more accessible. It knows always how to answer maybe like most supposedly effectively, like to a certain degree. But the main thing it lacks is humanity. The way I describe why humanity is important, for me, it's like the same way where I watch a sports game and I care that it's live right now, right? I can watch the same rerun like 2 weeks later and not know the score, but I wouldn't care about it as much. There's something about knowing that someone else on the other side, if we're thinking about like in sport, it's like it's happening right now. It's like real, it's authentic. Same with humans. Like there's something for us that like we care that there's someone on the other side that actually understands us, that can feel the pain that we're feeling, that can actually, relate to what's happening with us. And that is one of the most important things in therapy. And but if humanity is then the only thing that AI cannot replicate, then I think the therapist needs to put it front and center. That's their advantage. Then make it out there, because when someone has to choose between ChatGPT or your profile on whatever it is, Headway, then they need to feel why choose you when AI has all these advantages of accessibility and price, right? It doesn't. It needs to make sense, and I think like the way we do it is like put humanity front and center. For me, it's video profiles. For me, it's like be human to them, be vulnerable to them. Like you're expecting people to come and be vulnerable with you on your sessions, open up your life, be vulnerable to them, show them that you're human so that they can really connect with you. And once you can create that connection and they see you, they're not going to choose ChatGPT. They're not going to use an AI bot because they see the human. That's what they crave for at the end of the day.
No, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we all as humans, we just want to be seen and heard and then understood. So, and I know AI excels at that. It would sometimes it takes it way too far. I remember even now and then I'm using AI and I'm just like, stop being a sycophant, tell me the truth. I was like, calm down. And then you also shared some numbers around this and why, I've even me like, like going over the documents you've shared, like going over, I was like, a lot of therapists need to pay attention to this because you guys talked about 75% of 45% of Gen Z, they're very comfortable with AI. And then 63% of therapists, are rating AI session as higher quality. And then also 80% of people who tried AI therapy found it helpful. These are real humans that are trying AI and they're having such raving review. Like, this is scary. And I think a lot of therapists are not paying attention to it. I actually have a few contributors on Forum Insider. I let people that contribute have the freedom to write. But every now and then, whenever we have calls, I'll try to like, hey, AI is here. I get that it's very confusing. There's not a lot of people that are saying, okay, AI is here. This is how we can do about it. Everyone is saying if the person who's using AI is going to replace you. But now the person using AI is the patient. And now the patient is saying, Gen Z 45%, that's high alone for like a generation that's very good at technology. That's only going to go up. What do you think therapists need to know, or just individuals within the mental health space with these stats of, patients are using AI and having such raving, like reviews about it?
Well, for me, they need to find a way to then, not fight it against, but for me, they need to find a way to like live with this reality, but make sure that patients are not going totally there. Like, we can again dismiss these companies and try to like tell RoboTherapies of the world that they're wrong, but they are thinking business, right? The therapists cost a lot of money for them, and if they can take the therapist out of the equation and give more therapy sessions or give more therapy in general, then business people would just do it. It's not the solution that we need for humanity, but this is the reality. So after the fear and their initial reaction kind of dissipates, I think it's time to like build real strategies of how to deal with it. And I think we need to raise what are the real problems also with the AI, chatbots or like whatever replacing. And again, there's no real empathy. There's no real connection here. There's the unhealthy attachment that people are just like thinking that this is their best friend because it's always responsive and positively responding to them. And that we have the problem that in crisis, we can't really trust, AI chatbots. So we have all these issues. We have to learn why it's not working, why it's never going to work for AI, and how do we still convince people that they need a real therapist. If they can't be convinced, then the game is lost. Like you can't have therapy without a client. So you have to like make it clear. You have to make it clear for the therapist to kind of to do whatever they can to make it clear to the clients. The therapists know that they need themselves and they need work, but the clients don't know that they need the therapists.
I think we need to like flip the funnel a little bit. It has to be like the patient. And this is something that a lot of therapists know inherently. But I think the identity issue where this is their job, then it's switch where it becomes a therapist first. And I know this is not, like intentional. I'll probably get attacked by Brittany. So just even saying this. But like, I think that, because I played soccer. And the reason why I didn't make it in the US is because I was a very selfish player. Like, I love to dribble. Like back, I grew up in Africa where there was no rules around soccer. We had a coach and he told us to win. And we were very selfish. Everyone was for their own. And then when I came to the US, there was so much structure that I hated soccer. And I would carry the ball and the coach would yell at me to pass. I was like, but they suck. I can just go and score. Why do I have to pass people? And then I felt like it was my risk. But then I forgot that, now the entire fan base hated me. It's like, I'm having the highest score, but why is everybody hating me? So I think that's what's happening in therapy. Like, patients or clients are struggling finance-wise, their wallet are shrinking, like shrinking drastically. So they're trying to do whatever they can to function. Good times are hard. There's so much happening in the world right now, and they're trying to get as much access to mental health care as possible. So I don't know what you guys have in mind to help therapists win when it comes to seeing that the patient needs help. How can we get these resources to help them? And I'm saying resources so that we can take the conversation away from AI therapy or AI powered whatever, but calling it resources, because I think that would help therapists understand this could be one of your arsenal to make you the best therapist that you can be. So what are you guys doing to help therapists win?
Yeah, so great question. First of all, in soccer, unfortunately, I was the opposite. I was the one that is asking for you to pass the ball and never getting it. So that's that's a different thing.
Man, you definitely hate me for sure. I was very selfish.
Yeah, well, we should play it at some point.
No, absolutely.
I think that how we're helping again, I think like we're connecting, specifically TakeOne, the way we're trying to help is like by connecting to these platforms that, get therapist clients. So if you look, like we work with Soul Mental Health, with ThriveWorks, with Octave, and many more therapy platforms. And the idea there is to make it super easy for therapists to create a professional video of them introducing themselves. Again, the idea is to just humanize them as the first point of contact that clients have with them. So we know that therapists don't want to be video creators or anything like that. We really created technology that within a few minutes they can set up the phone in the best way, super easily, and then everything is edited automatically, and they get a fantastic video that they're proud of and that represent them in the best way that they can. So this is like what we've been doing with TakeOne, and basically there we see, for example, that bookings go up by almost 80%. People have easier first sessions because of that. And another aspect of it is that we can, in the world of AI as well, another big thing that's coming up, I think a lot of people are going to pretend to be different people because you can generate avatars and all that. We can guarantee that the video was made by a real person, 100%. So we can have the stamp of approval. This is a real person. You're not talking to a chat bot or to an avatar bot or whatever. So that's kind of like another interesting thing that we can do. In terms of generally how we can help therapists learn about AI, I think things like RoboTherapy, that the way I've seen it also coming from film background and all that, is that you have to evoke an emotion to make people care. And this is why we started with fear for RoboTherapy. You have to tell them, hey guys, you're going to be replaced if you don't wake up. You are going to be replaced. Work on, unfortunately, to get engagement, you need to evoke some sort of emotion, if it's positive, if it's a negative. We try to do a combo of funny immediately after drawing their attention. I think a lot of them, unfortunately, stayed with just the fear, which, it's just the reality. But I think we need to just educate them somehow. And at TakeOne, I think that RoboTherapy was one of our attempts to just educate. Hey, AI is coming. What are we doing? Right. Let's start a conversation. This is what RoboTherapy was meant to do. Start a conversation about what do we do as AI gets better and better and better.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that there's a lot more that can be done, but we have to start somewhere.
No, yeah, I think as someone who worked, especially in film, I got to work with a lot of developers, and then I talked to them still today, and actually picked up interest in working within that space. But then now that AI is in the picture, they're even I don't know what the hell this is. They will talk about Web 2.0, and then they're this is Web 99.0. It's growing rapidly every day, and it's learning from human activity every day. And then, to your point, it's the patient are at the center at this point, and access to all these chatbots are becoming so easier and so accessible, and it is helping people whether we like it or not. And I think if we can remove the identity baggage that we have as professionals, and then see and think of what exactly is happening to the patient, where are they going to find access, and how can we be there? I do want to
Yeah.
understand how exactly does TakeOne work, because I looked at it earlier. As a filmmaker, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And I watched a few videos and I saw that you actually direct the therapist with your software
Yeah.
to find the best angles in their space in order to take session. Does it integrate with their software, or is it more so like they use it, in addition to whatever system, like they currently have in place? How exactly does it work?
So we become essentially like almost like a feature within platforms, again, like Soul Mental Health, Octave, ThriveWorks, all these kind of clients. So these are big marketplaces for therapists or platforms that represents hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of providers. And in there, basically, when the provider wants to make a video, when they're creating their profile, they just basically get a quick link to our app. It signs them in automatically. It can generate a script for them already based on their bio, so they don't start with like a blank page. Then the app guides them exactly on how to position themselves in their space, how to think about it, just in a few easy steps, like how to find natural lighting, checks that the lighting is good, the angle with the phone tells them in real time how to do it. Then it has like a teleprompter, so they don't have to memorize lines. Additionally, we have like also a Q&A flow, so they're kind of having a conversation with an avatar, asking them questions, and they can speak freely. Then everything uploads automatically and is being edited automatically, and the quality of the video and the audio is being enhanced. And then with a click of a button, they press publish and it appears on their profile on that platform. So the idea is to really make the process really linear, streamlined, step by step. They need no technical skills, no video experience, nothing like that. If I show you the before and after example, sometimes your jaw will drop. Some people that have recorded before TakeOne, let's say not so great videos, after TakeOne, they suddenly look like completely different people. They present themselves completely differently because suddenly it looks like their video is professional, so that's kind of like the idea. So our thought is like human connection. AI can I don't know where AI is gonna go. I know human connection is not going anywhere. We crave human connection, and with TakeOne, the way I see it with our videos is we are just trying to help human connection be easier to be established online. That's what these videos are doing. They give a sense because as you think about it, almost all therapists right now have headshots on their profiles or websites or, the reason for that is to create trust and connection. That's what headshots are doing. The big problem is that headshots are extremely misleading, and many times, and it happened to me as well, chose a therapy based on a headshot. You show up to the first session, you're sitting in front of someone that you imagine that person one way, you're sitting in front of a completely different person.
Right.
And that person, while great therapist, great person, you don't connect with them. And then you're there for an hour. What do you do? It's really demoralizing. And by the way, this is, I think, a big reason why we see 50% of people don't go back to therapy after the first session, according to many studies. So, at TakeOne, we just try to help you create that connection before people even talk or meet or anything.
Gotcha. So you guys work with companies like, for example, like Simple Practice would be an ideal client for you guys.
Correct. We don't work specifically with them, but Simple Practice or like Psychology Today would be a great, or some of the bigger ones, Headway, Alma, Talkspace, BetterHelp. These are kind of like the companies that we are generally working with to just help them, make those connections.
Okay. Yeah. I'm connected with a bunch of those companies. And they're actually going to be on this podcast because I've been wanting to interview them in person, but most of them, again, schedule wise, we can never make it happen. I'm just like, all right, darn it, let's just do a podcast. But I mean, I would love to see like companies use that, because as a filmmaker, again, when I have a session with a therapist, I'm more likely to show up again if I actually show up and it's like very well lit. It's just a psychological thing, and I think we're in a point where just patients in general, they want to know their therapist because it's personal. To your point, it's like one-on-one sitting down with someone and opening up deep, like psychological things and sharing with that individual requires a lot of trust. And I think having that, that visual where they can see you, they can see your nuances, they can see you talk, how you talk. I talk with my hands a lot. I'm like a clown sometimes, So I want to see all that before I do anything. But again, I'm just genuinely glad that I took time and actually like read your landing page, because I literally the whole time that I was reading it, I kept sending it to my my wife who is in healthcare. I kept sending her a screenshot. Can you believe it? And her favorite was like when you guys said like emotion detection software. She was like, actually, this is a good idea. If she's like, if we can detect everyone's emotion and have a bubble in their head, and it says this guy is annoying. This is sad. Yeah, so I appreciate what you guys are doing, and before we close, is there anything that you would like to share? Maybe you have something coming up in future, whatever, just so the therapists watching this can be like, you know what, we can chill now. AI is here to work with us, not take over our jobs.
Well, for us, from what we're seeing, I have the data from my company, and we're seeing that videos are becoming so much more of a standard right now. I think a lot of therapists, and rightfully so, it's like not easy to like go off and make a video of yourself. It's my company. I've done probably hundreds of videos by now, and I still like it's not easy, but I think therapists are starting to get that this is important. So I do want to say great for that. Like it is starting to change. They understand that this is important. They understand. I see a lot of platforms also told me like even getting bios sometimes from therapists is very hard, but therapists are starting to understand like, hey, we need to be able to market ourselves correctly. We need to be able to like connect with people. At the end of the day, they do understand that it's within their own values, right? These videos, they make it easier for people to seek help. They make it easier for the clients to want to take the step, the first step. And therapists are starting to understand, wait, I'm actually making it easier for my clients. That's actually a really noble and great thing to do. So I think it's not all bad. I think at the end of the day as well, like people will always need therapists because we crave that human connection. And I see it with everything, and I can give you 10 different examples. I play a lot of chess online, and as an example, I play a lot of chess online. Now, I hate playing against bots. But what's the difference? Like, when I play chess online, I don't see anybody. There's no video. It could be a bot, as far as I'm concerned. But something about my knowledge that there's someone else sitting on the other side playing chess with me, for real, makes me way more excited about it. Makes me way more invested. Makes me care. So there's a million examples in the world of how we need the human-to-human interaction. We need to know that like this is a real human. So I'm not too worried of AI replacing people, but I am worried that therapists that there's gonna be like a big swing in which like all these companies trying to gain money from the fact that AI is so much more accessible will try to shift therapy there, and then therapists will kind of not know where to find themselves or not know what to do. But it will bounce back. You need human connection. That's my main.
No, absolutely. I mean, that already happened in 2.0, where a lot of therapists are just now learning about how to build a website, and now they're like AI. They're like, oh gosh, I'm just now learning how to build my website, and you're telling me I need to learn about AI. But I can yap about this all day because it's something that I'm talking about all the time. But again, thank you so much for coming in. I love that you say that. It's like like making life for your clients easier. Hopefully you guys can use that as your tagline. Making life for your clients easier, one take at a time. I think that would be cool. It could be another like funny like satire thing, just to make me happy, because I love satire. I'm a big fan of like comedy. So again, thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on the Forum Nexus podcast, and I hope I can have you in the in-person experience, because I think it'll be fun to do that as well.
I would really look forward to it. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I'll come in person, and also we'll play soccer after.
Yes. All right.
Perfect. Thanks so much, man.